Hello, Gemini. It's Jordan, the Green Moon Healing Spirit. I'm going to be doing your tarot card reading for the month of October 2025. I'm going to be pulling 10 of these traditional Rider-Waite tarot cards, and I'll be clarifying with 3 of these gilded tarot cards for each of those. At the end, I'll pull you a fantasy oracle and also a talisman card. It's been an interesting month, of course. I'm sorry I'm getting this up so late. Been very busy. Career-wise, personal-wise, just about every-wise. I'm sure you can understand Gemini. But I am getting it up now, and I'm very excited. Gemini is always a fun sign for me to read. Of course, it does get to be busy. There's a little bit going on. Sun is in Libra this month and moving into Scorpio, but let's see what we have. Spirit, what is in store for Gemini this month? Anything they need to know? Okay. For Gemini. Ooh, the star. Very good. Five of coins. Five of pentacles is an interesting card to come up after the star. Two of cups. The devil. King of pentacles. Okay. Most fascinating Gemini. To start the month off, I do see maybe a little bit of ambition. Two big major arcana. Maybe an obstacle, of course. I do see, to start the month off, your mind may be in one of two places. You may be in need of healing, of course, because the star is all about healing. This is the Aquarius card. It's got to do with how to soothe where we've been, all the problems that have been going on, and you do, it seems, have a fair bit going on. Of why do we need to heal? Because something is wrong, and what could possibly be wrong? I do see maybe you feel like a dream is yet unfulfilled, but maybe because of somebody that you're with. I just am getting that with all of these cards kind of coming through pretty clearly for me. The star is all about connection to the dream, connection to an aspiration, to some community and some higher elevated communicative energy, which it should be said right now that there is a full moon for you early in the month in Aries, which for you is your 11th house. This is connected to the dream and aspirations, also the communities. I do see there may be a member of your community, could be your intimate partner. There is something there. Full moon asks us to address something that needs to be eliminated, be addressed, changed, transformed. It's very complicated. I just see wherever your mind is connected to this very high place, it's sort of shaping how you live your life. And I do see it connected here to the Five of Pentacles. This is such an ugly card, and nobody likes pulling this card. Nobody likes seeing this card, but it came out for you. Could be this month that we need to talk about some sort of energy for you, which is draining you, standing in your way, keeping you in a place that's preventing you from attaining this dream, this aspiration. There may be some part of this dream that is not feasible the way that it is, at least with the people that there are. Something in the community might be shifting for you with that full moon in Aries in the 11th house. It's definitely churning. Of course, it should be said also, Gemini, that the sun is in Libra this whole time, and that's in your 5th house. Talks about how to bring balance and harmony to the things that bring you joy, how to fit that into the everyday with Mercury moving into Scorpio on the 6th. That's your 6th house, and that is all about a deep conversation. Okay, it's all very deep communicative energy, but it shapes that sort of everyday life and how these things, these grand ideals, can really change how we live our lives here on Earth. Very interesting energy, but this Five of Pentacles, I just see two people in this card. There's one person here. They're outside of a magnificent church in the cold, very far from this dream and maybe in need of this star to heal them wherever they are. This may be some part of your community that you're in, could be the close friendship circle or wherever you are, might need to heal a little bit. There might have been some tension. I do see some obstinate energy, however. There are also two people in this Two of Cups, which has to do with the partnership, communication. I do see this as that deep conversation and exchanging of feelings, trying to address how maybe you and another or you and others in the community might be able to work together. But there is some energy going on, which it may be that there's a fear. I do see this more as an obstacle. There might be somebody just preventing this star from happening. There might be just somebody there, some part of your community needs to change. I don't know whether it's toxic. It might just be an energy you need to stay away from. The Two of Cups is all about how we can achieve. What can we do together? How can we heal? There's healing, and I do see this caduceus symbol is always symbolic of healing to me. It may be that there's a struggle to obtain this healing. It's difficult sometimes, Gemini, for us to change in this way. I do see this either you trying to help somebody else change or somebody and you trying to change together and transform the way that you live and represent with your community that way. And how it is that you'll be obtaining joy in this sense, because the devil energy is all about stasis, bondage, temptation. Can be a little bit stubborn, as can be the King of Pentacles, but I do see the devil energy for you here is more about there's just some obstacle, something that wants to keep you stuck in this mentality of feeling like a victim, feeling like there's something that needs to keep you feeling in a position of defense, such that you can't really aspire to these energies like you really truly want to. It may just be you see, it's almost like, this is going to sound bizarre, but if you were to break up with an ex and you see that person around, it brings you right back to that moment. You really see them and it fills you up with all those bad feelings that you had if you broke up, that sort of energy. And every time you see them, something just brings you to that place. And it's like it's stopping you from evolving in this way to move past whatever energy might have been going on before this. There is another person involved, at least I do see, because there's also two people in this card. It may be that you and your intimate partner are having a hard time shaping your image in the community, trying to figure out how you're going to evolve this situation together, but one of you just might be obstinate. There might also be another obstinate force who's not part of this duo that I see here. The King of Pentacles, it does speak to control and understanding of self-worth, but it mostly can be a very obstinate, stable energy that just will not budge. And I do see this as being connected to the devil, as almost looking kind of right at the situation and just standing right in your way. I don't know whether this is another member of your community. Of course, right about here, it should be said that Venus is in Libra right around the 13th, and it's coming there with the sun, which can be a magnificent time and in a very attracting energy. But with Uranus in your own house, Gemini, trining Pluto in Aquarius, which is, a very complicated need to address the things that bring you joy in all of those spaces that are going on there. Um, in your ninth house, Pluto in Aquarius in the ninth house is all about shaping how you're going to evolve communications, faith in this relationship, and how you're going to sort of transmute that into the community and also your own image. It's a very complicated ideology, but I just see this as being very interesting for you. Pull some more cards. Fascinating, of course. There might be another person who's helping to get you through this, of course. There's two people together in all of these cards up here, so might be some force keeping you both, somehow under its foot in the community. It's sort of odd, but continue to pull. Queen of Wands, beautiful. Nine of Wands. Page of Pentacles. Ten of Cups. Wonderful. Nine of Cups. Really nice. Okay. And now I'm going to pull a guiding card for you just for the month to see where you are. Two of Wands. Beautiful. Okay, Gemini. Whatever situation is going on in the first half of the month, I just see there is a challenge. There might be some part of the community that is just obstinate. I do see the two of you kind of sticking together. If you're in an intimate relationship, a lot of you are a long-term partnership. You might be together through the thick and the thin, having to face sort of adversity after adversity, but I do see you coming up in a really good way. There may be a challenge here. This could also be one of you stepping up to kind of take charge against this devil and this Five of Pentacles. Because Gemini, I really get the sense that you feel the need to move past this, that you really want to be done, that you want to go on with your life, that you're ready to have joy, you're ready to have the things that you believe you really truly deserve. And I see that because the Queen of Wands is all about joy. She's all about passion. She makes things look effortless. She's extremely unrelenting in how she leans in on the things that she wants to bring her joy and the things she perceives which will bring her value. Queen of Wands is all about tenacity in a vicious sense of pursuing energy. She is all about bringing things to life. She would do anything. She will give herself everywhere. She's connected to all of these ideas in her head and in the mind space, as well as the physical realm, to the sun and to the mysterious. She's just got it all, Gemini. It's a very good energy to come up against I don't think adversarial, just somewhat obstinate. Somebody, I just feel a sense like there's been a struggle for you in the community image. I just see that for you. Of course, this is affecting how you live your life because Mercury coming into Scorpio in that sixth house is all about communications in a very deep sense. I see you both might be kind of talking about how you're going to evolve past this, how you're going to escape out of this situation together, kind of move out of it. The Queen of Wands, though, coming up after this King of Pentacles, I just see the queen. She cannot be subdued. She cannot be told to stop. She's just not that type of person. The queen is so about getting what she wants. And she does it in a way that's almost inspiring to watch. So I just see this as being a remarkable sense of passion, of realness for you to be able to take the steps, to go to the meetings, to do whatever you have to do if this is like a work situation, to just resolve. I see this as coming up under the star. It's all about that healing sort of ideology. Because, Gemini, I do get a sense that things might have been a little bit rough now looking at this Nine of Wands. This is all about perseverance, though. So even though things might have been a little bit of a challenge, I think if you just hold on and let your passion guide you and keep it always in front of you. Of course, you have these things behind you, but you're standing, you're ready, okay? It's a little bit exhausting naturally, but it is a very passionate position still. There's not, this passion is still here, and I do see it as being, it's almost like it's holding you up. That's just what I see. It's like you connect maybe to this aspiration, to this place, out there in the 11th house. It's just all about commitment to this vision. It's like you were so hell bent on achievement that I just don't see you giving up, especially with the queen, because once the queen gets involved, once she gets her hands into a project, into a dream, she is not going to let go. Okay, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The full moon in Aries moment might be for you that need to sort of really acknowledge what the dream was, to kind of put things in their place in terms of what parts of it were supposed to work a certain way and what parts of it need to change and adapt. Has got to do with the people, of course, too. But I see, as long as you hold on to this passion and really have it, really embody it, I think that there's going to be a real offering, maybe, of something real, something that can bring you peace. It's almost like that real bit of reward after all of this sort of uncomfortableness that you've had, maybe the places that you've been. It's like, after all this work, this could be the means to soothing you. This could be, maybe you just needed to see some reality. Like this Five of Pentacles, it sees reality, except it's so external. It's not involved. It's outside. It's watching it from the outside. It's watching all these other people enjoy. And I do see now, later in the month, once passion kind of kicks in, you are kind of starting to see a little bit of an offering to you. And there's some way that you can perceive that you make this real. This might have to do with work or money, of course. The dream might involve money. There's a little bit about that. Because also for you this month, Gemini, is Jupiter in Cancer, which is your second house. It's all about expanding that home of stability and finance. There's also, at this point, there's a really big water trine. After the first part of the month, there's a huge air trine. All of that stuff about Pluto and Aquarius and Gemini in your own house, that chaotic sort of upheaval that might be going on here, with the sun in Libra, can be a very complicated energy. The sun in Libra is so difficult sometimes because it does have that objective sort of reality. And it's just that scale is just going to balance now. It's going to bring that harmony, whether it hurts, whether it's easy. It really doesn't matter to Libra. It's objective, okay? It's just objective. And it's in your fifth house. So we're defining how we're going to let this bring us joy and fulfill our lives. Like the queen, she's all about joy and how she's going to obtain it. I do see here, when the sun comes into Scorpio, it's going to be trining Jupiter in Cancer, as well as, at this point, Neptune is moving back into Pisces with Saturn. Okay, so that's all about acknowledging those parts that didn't really exist, that didn't really fit, those things that might have been in the background, all of those energies maybe in that community space that were just behind the scenes that you didn't know, it's kind of like you're seeing the reality of the situation, who's really part of the group, who's really part of your team, who really is part of the issue as well, who might be causing some of this. You might be seeing some reality in that way. And at the same time, with Jupiter and Cancer expanding that second house for you in finance and stability and solidity and how you're going to, it does sort of talk about that, how the external world can reinforce the internal world, in terms of pentacles, in terms of relationships and communication. Finance is a huge part of that, especially with Venus and Libra in the fifth house. That does bring joy, of course, to Gemini. It definitely is a little bit interesting, to think about Pluto and Aquarius in the ninth house space. It does get to be a little bit challenging, and when Neptune moves back into Pisces in that 10th house space, it does sort of talk about the points of the career, that public image for you that need to kind of dissolve. Those positions or things that you might have held that just need to sort of disappear. It's kind of difficult, of course, Gemini, always, but I do see once that happens, once you sort of have this reality check, like the page is bringing you, I do see this sometimes as a reality check. It enables such an understanding of the position that you have and how you can obtain joy and contentment. Because the Ten of Cups is all about this blissful place. It's all about that harmony where Libra wanted to be. Okay, really, the sun moving into Scorpio at this point is sort of enabling this watery, cups are all about water, this sort of water trine that's going on. It is deep, and a little Scorpio is a vulnerable place in the sixth house that could change your day-to-day life in a realish way, Gemini. So I do see that however you're doing this, once you sort of check in to all of the things that might be real, all of the things that might not be real, these obstacles, some of them you might be realizing like, this was really not as much as I was making out of it, or some of these obstacles, they really aren't important. Who really cares? They don't matter. They're not real. They're not a part of my life, and it allows you to give in. And Pisces is all about surrender, Gemini, especially when you have like Neptune there with Saturn. All of that sort of misty, dreamy energy is being held to a matter of account with Saturn. And in that space for you, in that 10th house space, it's all about public image. And this may be filling you with a sense of how you can obtain the image that you wanted and how you can live that out. And maybe with the people that we saw up here too. Some of you might have a tight family, okay? It might just need that you need to understand the position of the people involved and people in the background who might not really actually matter, Gemini, you know? And the address of that with those people, I do see at this point, Mercury moves into Sagittarius on the 29th. So it's moving from Scorpio. But for a couple days, we do have the Sun and Mars as well as Mercury in Scorpio, all in that sixth house place. It's all about that day-to-day initiation and how you're going to allow these things to really transform you in the real sense, Gemini. Your habits might be changing, calendar appointments and how you deal with that might be changing a little bit. There's a lot of communication and initiation in that place, especially with the sun shining on how important that might be for you to obtain this joy and obtain how this can bring you fulfillment, okay? Because once we have that sort of thing happen, it allows us to give in to a point where we just feel better. And I see the Nine of Cups is all about feeling content. Like at this point, I don't really need any more. I mean, sometimes I might want to take one of my own things and just enjoy that. It does speak to a position of comfort, at least, of just for a minute not wanting, of address the things that you have and satisfaction with that. I do see this as being a very beautiful energy for you. And I think your world is kind of going to elevate at that point, because once you have this sort of satisfaction, that's how you enable the expansion. That's how all the world around you, when you're in a better state of mind, Gemini, the world grows around you. The world sort of follows you in that sense, especially this month with the family or the whoever's involved up here with the partnerships. It's almost taking that whole group with you. In your guiding energy, the Two of Wands is all about expansion and readiness. It's about addressing the position that he's already or she has already had. There is a stability about this card and acceptance of all of the hardship that might have happened to obtain this that they have. And it definitely, it doesn't know all the answers. It's sort of, I see it looking into this globe as to how it can start to shape an ideology on what to do next. A sort of strategizing. It's like that early stage of strategizing. It gets to be very interesting when Gemini starts to do this, I think, because all those really rapid firing ideas are starting to come to life now. And this is the fun part I see for Gemini, this sort of strategizing and all this allowing of that energy can be such a fun energy. Really, I see this as being not a terrible time. I mean, some of these cards that came up on, they don't look that great, but there are some really excellent cards here, Gemini. I don't think you should be distracted with the things in the background that you feel might be keeping you in a certain image, in a certain sense. I really don't see that you would accept that. I just don't see that for you. Because you are trying to expand, to glow up, to get your next best life. I think that's such a great energy for you. Okay, let's pull a and I'll clarify all these cards too, Gemini. Let's pull a fantasy oracle for Gemini. The storyteller, viewpoints, and control. I do see there's an element of, like I said, like that looking in from outside. I just see there is a bit of that for you. It's almost like a voyeuristic type. I mean, even the Two of Wands that came up here, it just is so external. It feels like you're sort of having that moment where you step outside your life, Gemini, and evaluate. With the Five of Pentacles, I see too. It's like where you see this church, you're not part of it, you're watching it. That community there that you see, and this, of course, the Star card is all about the Aquarius energy, that connection to the community, how you can heal that, and also the control, like I said, with the Devil and the King of Pentacles, very controlling energies. This also might be you that's having to take control, but I do see more of an obstinate force in how you're having to confront some of that energy. So it's very interesting that that should come up about control. I'm unsure whether you're the controlling party, although I do get more of a sense that there's an obstacle who's trying to maintain control in some way. Maybe about your image, that could be too. Yeah. Oh, not these cards yet. I'm going to pull you a talisman card. I have a talisman spirit for Gemini. Success. See, this is a beautiful card to come up. There's a star here as well, kind of like this. I do see wherever you're going, you kind of are having to confront something. This might be just an ugly truth, maybe something in the community we're trying to keep in a certain place so it didn't get out, and there's something in the background. But I just see whatever you're doing with, it's not the ugliest of confrontations that I see now, but the devil energy is always about some challenge, some sort of thing that wants to keep you bonded. Not all that, there's like a few situations where the devil is actually can be a good card, but in this situation, I do see it more as an obstacle. There's something that needs to be confronted here, and it might have to do with King of Pentacles energy. I just see whatever, though, in the second half of the month, you really are leaning in to achieve, okay? And it's a winning mentality. There's two huge, I mean, very beautiful cards. There's like celebration and joy and fulfillment and bliss, after a reality sort of situation. So I just see this as being a very good energy for you, of course, Gemini. Now I'm going to pull clarifiers. So let's do Spirit. I'm going to clarify the Star card. The Star came up again. It's a huge energy to come up twice. The Eight of Wands and the Hierophant. And now we'll clarify this Five of Pentacles. Judgment. The Hanged Man. There's the Devil. Very interesting moment with that Five of Pentacles, Gemini. And now this Two of Cups. I knew this would come up, the Lovers. See, you're here with somebody. It's all about communication, but we'll clarify. King of Pentacles is here too. Very interesting. Five of Cups. And now we'll clarify this Devil energy. Nine of Cups. High Priestess. Nine of Pentacles. Now let's clarify this King of Pentacles. Have the Queen of Wands coming up again there. Very fascinating, Gemini. Knight of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles. Wow, okay. Now I'll clarify this Queen of Wands. The Tower. Ace of Swords. Four of Pentacles. Okay, now we'll clarify this Nine of Wands. We have the Knight of Wands. Two of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles on that same card. Beautiful. And now I have the Page of Pentacles will clarify. King of Swords. Talk about a reality check. Two of Wands. And the Moon. Very interesting there. Now let's clarify this Ten of Cups. Seven of Wands. Or I'm sorry, Seven of Swords. Have the Six of Cups. And the Three of Swords. Wow. Okay. Emperor we have here. And the Nine of Cups. Ace of Cups. Four of Wands. Beautiful. And I'm going to clarify this Two of Wands energy. I have the Ten of Wands. The Page of Wands, too. Lots of passion, too, for the month, I think, Gemini. Now I'm going to pull the last card if I can. I'm going to take one pass and try and give Spirit a little more liberty the way that I pull the cards. I'm going to just pull them one different way. I will take one pass through the deck. If I get nothing else, that's fine. We'll read them the way that they are. Anything else, Spirit, for Gemini on this guiding card for the month? No. Okay. All right, Gemini. Some very fascinating things going on here. I do have a comprehensive reading that I offer. If you follow the link in the description, I'm going to go ahead and talk about all of these cards and what they mean, at least the way that I see them. And I do hope to see you there. If I don't, that's fine. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's totally fine. I can't resonate with all of you, but I always do love to see you there. And I get a lot of information there too. But I do hope you have a good month. If you're not going to be joining me there, I wish you the best. I love all my Gemini friends. And I will pause it here.